Hello and welcome to the show. I am here on Car Mechanic Simulator today, going to be starting, restoration work on the Holden Efijy that I found last time out. I love kind of mad hot rod vehicles, and this Holden concept is absolutely brilliant. And it's also very, very powerful, so likely to be pretty quick if I can keep it all under control. The supercharged V8 in this one from the factory is 703 horsepower, so it's pretty much the same engine that we have going in the SLR. And when modified, this one, near enough 1,200. So we're going to have a 1,200 horsepower hot rod by the time I am finished. That sounds like a good thing to me. Of course, the first bit is going to be strip the car down. Now, this, I believe, will strip all the way down to the chassis, much like the Pontiac that I played around with, made by the same guy. So we, I think, can basically pull all of this, all of the bodywork off until it is just a chassis. And the wheels are a little bit through the. Oh, there it goes. There goes a large portion of the body. If we pull off the front end, now does right. So that's all kind of like the interior bits and so on. The way stuff has to be broken up for mods for parts in general in this game means that we might have the odd little floaty bit when I do things this way around. Probably not the most efficient way of doing things. Never mind though. Never mind at all. But actually, just looking at the underside of this car. We are going to get more than the 1,200, or more than the horsepower we have in the Mercedes, because this has actually got a proper exhaust system going all the way back, which means I can use performance exhausts, which means this will then become the most powerful car I've ever worked on. I'm okay with that. Should probably, not that one. We should probably get to interior disassembling, get the seats out of the car and the steering wheel out of the car. Oh, can we? Oh, we might go around the other side. Might have gone out of the little hitbox bit for that. Oopsie. And then we go interior disassemble, steering wheel, yoink. Voila. And there we go. Much easier than the real thing. That taking the entire body off the car, essentially. The chassis is still there. I think it's the red frame is the chassis of the car. Essentially, it's a little bit invisible when you're working on stuff, but don't worry about that too much. We should probably. What are you? Your fenders. Sure, we'll get rid of those as well. Get you lifted up into the air so that we can work on various bits and pieces. Suspension-wise, double wishbone at the front, the more complicated axle, I don't know what it's called, sort of bit at the back here, so we will need a fair few bits if you like. I have, thankfully, eventually remembered to clear up my inventory, so I now do not have a horribly laggy inventory that lags my game every time I go into it. Yeah, if you have too many parts hanging around, the game gets a little bit unhappy, to say the least, really. Let's go. We need the drive axle out first. My plan with this car, certainly regarding tyres, I've kept the race tyres that we were messing around with last time. The race tyres are in the storehouse, so I have got those, and I will stick them on here. When you're dealing with, as much power in this car as we are going to be dealing with, I'm going to be wanting to have some slick tyres on the vehicle. I don't think it's going to be. The McLaren wasn't very controllable. The Mercedes wasn't very controllable on normal tyres, and this is likely to be even more lunatically powerful. Yeah, the old stuff I don't think quite going to cut it. Unfortunately, it does mean that it's on my inventory. I don't have any sort of spare stuff hanging around. However, this was a barn find car, which means that condition-wise, a lot of these parts are going to potentially be repairable. Now, whether I have good luck when it comes to repairing them or not, that's a whole other story. But there is potential to not have to buy too much. The potential for plenty of the bits and pieces to be restored. Right, let's get all of this back part off of the car. I'm just looking at the exhaust in this. I think it's made up of 3 parts: rear muffler, mid, and a front exhaust pipe. Okay, I think Certainly the middle muffler, there is a upgraded version. I think this is a slightly different front exhaust. Yeah, I think the V8C I don't think we'll get. I mean, we might get another 5% out of the exhaust. However, 5% is a fairly sizable amount when you're talking thousands of horsepower kind of range. I don't actually know. I mean, I would assume where I'm going with this sentence is in the twin mill that I have. I have got the mod for the twin mill. Only one of the engines has any impact if you improve the performance of that. I was wondering about the exhaust, but there are plenty of cars in the standard game that come with 2 exhausts. There are not very many cars that come with 2 engines, so I would imagine, you know, the both exhausts are definitely going to be helpful in terms of the performance. Let's go yank out the drive shaft. Now, the good thing in all of this is we don't really have to worry about the engine. The engine is going to be very, very straightforward because I can just yank the one out of the McLaren, and that will be that. And we can get rid of exhaust pipe C there. Let's get rid of the gearbox and the starter motor. Then it will be a very straightforward case of yank the engine out, drop the car back down again. Yeah, that can all stay on there. Don't care about the clutch and so on. We'll just pull it out in one go. Yeah, we'll then drop, well, as I say, the car, drop the very basic chassis down and plonk in a brand new, incredibly powerful engine. I definitely like having a workshop engine. To be fair, what I do want on here is like a big... Oh, there we go, back into the wheel hub. It's like a big rack of engines. It would be nice to be able to store... I guess technically I could keep a big... I mean, I can keep them like in my pocket, so I could store them in the warehouse, come to think of it. It'd be nice to have like a big rack to put them on to show off all the different engines, so you could have... you know, one of each, like a high performance version of each that you could just drop into cars as and when you wanted. Would be cool. Not expecting it to be a massive priority in terms of features, but yeah, would be an interesting one to see. Oh, we have got the air filters in an interesting place. I don't know. Oh, that could be access from the engine bay. Oh, we'll have to drop the car down. I don't know very much about the Efijy whatsoever, aside from knowing the fact that I really like the car and it's awesome to see it in another game. So, did they have the air filter mounted up in that corner? Could well be. There's interesting configurations of mod cars and so on. This one has got the special steering rack that goes through the engine block. When it comes to trying to fit everything in, some of these vehicles that the parts, you know, weren't initially intended for, you do end up occasionally... I mean, we kind of got suspected... Kind of got the shock absorber a little bit going into the engine. It's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing could possibly go wrong with any of that whatsoever. I don't know. I was wondering where the anti-roll bar was. I swear there was an end. Maybe it doesn't have any of the patented through engine. Oh no, it has got patented through engine. Oh no, it doesn't have a patented through engine steering rack. That's the end of the tie rod. Ah, okay. I find it interesting, fascinating, seeing all of the different kind of workarounds that have gone on to getting mod cars to fit together. But we've got tie rods on this side that we can do. And the other thing that this game will get a little bit confused with is, even though I have stripped the entire car down to a bare chassis, it still wants you clicking on the right points. Still wants you to go, you know, in via the engine bay if you're going to get a brake servo and that kind of thing. Is it a little bit silly? Yes, but... the game was never quite intended to be able to strip cars down this far, so yeah, you kind of live with it. It's really cool that we have got mods that will take it to this level, that we can literally bring the car down to a bare chassis. I don't think I've tried I don't think I did try driving the Pontiac when it was literally just a bare chassis. We might have to do that with the Efijy. I feel like it would be, for science, we need to go and take the car out with the the minimum amount of body. Essentially be a go-kart with a... It would be a go-kart with a 1,200 horsepower engine. That sounds like my sort of craziness. Right, I got distracted by the prospect of a lunatic go-kart. Right, move equipment. You can go to car lifter B, and yoink! There we go. The car is now as a very... basic chassis. That's what it all boils down to with the Efijy. We then need to steal an engine out of you. Oh, that's full of oil again, isn't it? Yep. Okay. We can deal with that. We can lift you up. We will go and stick you under, well, a lifter when it's finished operating. Lifter C. Drain the oil. Take the drive line off. Steal the gearbox, and then we will be good to dump it on that chassis. This engine has, or I should say, this SLR has had engines in and out of it quite a lot since being in our workshop. It sat in a junkyard for however long, considering the rusty condition of the car, probably quite a while. Now it's had its engine out. This will be the third time it's had the engine out. But actually, this is a whole different engine to the one that was pulled out of it the kind of first time sticking the McLaren, because I built up a secondary engine just specifically for this car. We will steal the starter motor and yoink out the gearbox. Then it's good to take the engine. That should now let me remove the engine from the car, and hey presto, engine swaps are lovely and straightforward in Car Mechanic Simulator. You're over there, pull the engine out, excellent, move the equipment to B, and then we can go install. Plop. Hey, there we go. A nice, shiny, new engine. Kind of bolted. It's these new special levitation bolts that we have going on with this one. Okay, very, very advanced technology. One of the reasons the Efijy never ended up making production, it's just far too expensive trying to do levitation bolts on everything. Right, that's kind of an important bit stuck in the car. Oh, we've got to go under. Of course, I couldn't possibly drop a gearbox in from this angle. Nope, not a possibility at all. Let's go and have a look at the not main shop. Don't want that. We want the performance shop. So exhaust. We have got. Nah, of course, we couldn't possibly have the front exhaust pipe that we need. We've got A, we've got normal, we've got B, but no. Do we have C? Of course not. Right, so we will need 2 midsections, and we will need 2 rear mufflers. I'm fairly sure it was the V8 overhead valve ones that went on this car. So that's okay. That will give us 6% performance increase. That's a decent amount. That's going to be a noticeable. I say it's going to be a noticeable amount. It's going to be a noticeable amount in terms of figures. In terms of driving the car, it's going to just spin the wheels like a lunatic, regardless. So yeah, it's going to be a bit of a monster, but I'm okay with that. Whether it's going to beat that Pontiac GTO, I don't know. That Pontiac has proved to be a mighty quick time, actually. The GTO, the drag car, went very quickly around our test track. Now, I would love for the Efijy to go faster, and I mean, it has got the power at the end of the day to maybe possibly go faster if we can get the control. Okay, we have got a lovely, shiny exhaust system installed on the car. It's a shame that we're going to then go and ruin it by have to have like the front pipes are going to be wonky. Sorry. I can't, unfortunately, polish them on the repair table to make them shiny, to make them match the rest of it. We're going to go and repair up all of the parts that I have now, and hopefully put the car back together again. Well, I have repaired as much as I can. Unfortunately, it looks like my Repair Anything mod might be a little bit outdated. So, sadly, well, I say sadly, less has been able to be repaired. We'll have to buy a few more bits. I've kind of bought some of the obvious bits that I think I will need, but I'm not 100% sure. Also, I had terrible luck repairing stuff, despite having a pretty decent, good... Oh, bugger. We need wheel hub bearings and so on. Yeah, despite having a pretty good chance of repairing a lot of stuff, it didn't quite go according to plan so well. I didn't pay any attention to what wheel hub we needed. I think it was... Oh, God, we're going to need brake discs. I did buy pads, at least. It's weird. I'm so used to playing with... I guess with the modded Repair Anything sort of stuff that... yeah, I don't do so... I don't do so well at remembering what can and can't normally be repaired. I find it more fun playing with that mod, to be perfectly honest with you. At times a little bit less realistic, sure, but overall it's worth it for for the more entertainment. Just yeah, I prefer playing the game in that manner. Also, you spend less time faffing around through the tablet to get to the shop. At least we repaired most of the brake calipers up. That's something. So that's always helpful. Upper suspension arm, apparently we repaired both of those. I did also off camera go and quickly do the front shock absorbers because there's just time sat waiting for the spring compressor and so on. Don't have to worry about tyres. As I said, we have already got race tyres. You can just go back. In terms of, I guess, value for this car, this isn't going to be a big money maker. Truth be told, I might not even sell the Efijy, as yeah, I like the car. So when it comes to the wheels and tyres, etc., I might just stick it back on what it came in for now and put it back into storage for a little while. Because yeah, I'm not going to probably sell this car. I'm not too worried about it being 100% completed, you know, for when it comes to selling it on. You get a big bonus when you have a car at 100% fully restored, everything brand new in it, in terms of value. However, this is probably only going to be worth... how much do I guess? 80 grand to start with. Is probably going to be worth 200,000-300,000. And, well, that sounds like a lot of money in this game, and it absolutely is to begin with, when the last car I sold was worth 10 million. There are other ways of making significant money on this game, and this car, probably not it, but very, very cool being able to essentially strip the car down to the, well, the very basic chassis. So that's the front in. Now we've got the engine looks like it is slightly bit better held in place. Radiator, good, that was all fixed up. Fan housing, hey, look at that. Perfect, all of those are good. We have an air filter base, but that's not going to be any good. Alright, so we're going to need air filter base, yes, we're probably going to need the top bit. It's $45, it'll save me coming back here, and I'm pretty sure it was clip A. Let's go buy 4 of those. Now, amusingly, of course, of all of the things in the car, the clips are repairable, so... You know, maybe we do have them. Oh, we need a performance air filter, don't we? Of course, most important. Well, again, it's another. Was it like 1%? I think for the air filter. In fact, it is. It is exactly 1%. I'll take it. I'll take it when we're dealing with a 700 horsepower engine. 1% is not too shabby in terms of that old power output. That can go on there, and we actually repaired a decent amount of the clips. Okay, half of the clips. I take that back. Not quite as good an amount as I thought we had. Car's got to go back up because we've not got the front left lower suspension arm on. That would probably not be so good news. The car would probably not be too happy with me if I had left it in such a manner. We're going to need a lot more rubber bushings than I initially bought. That much I can tell now. We are going to need a lot more of those. Sway bar, we're going to need end link B. I can get those. Not from there, though. God dear. I thought I'd done an okay job of grabbing the parts that we needed. Nope. Nope, I did not. Sway bar, end link B. Now, do we need anything to connect that to? As far as I can tell, probably not. Because I don't remember seeing a... Well, I thought at one point I had seen a sway bar, but I might have just been imagining things, like expecting there to be one that connects to. No, it doesn't seem to. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Back of the car we go. So, I really hope I repaired this bit. Rear suspension. Okay, good. We did get that. Knuckle housing. Hey, we've got... one on each side. That's definitely going to be buggered. I did buy shock absorbers, so that one there will be good. Wheel hub 3. We have got 2 of those. That's also good news. Rear wheel hub. One of them survived. Yeah, we've probably got enough to make up one side. Kind of about the average that I managed to do when it comes to restoring of cars. Caliper, we're going to need to buy a cylinder as well when we get over the other side. Bugger. Wheel hub bearing, yes. Do we have drive axles? We do have 2 drive axles. Perfect. That's what I like to hear. I mean, I could go over and steal all the bits I need off of the SLR if I got, if I could be bothered. The fact of the matter is, it will be quicker to go to the shop. While it'd be nicer to have the parts in my inventory now, it will be quicker to go to the shop to buy them than it will be to go over to that SLR and steal them. I need more, yeah, we need a lot more bushings. Right, so while we can get that one there quickly while we're here. Rear suspension arm. Hey, we've got one of those as well. Fantastic. So we need, I did buy some of these. Apparently not all of it was needed because we could repair the base part of that. Of all the bits of that, of all of this car, for some reason that bit there can be repaired, while the rest of them couldn't possibly repair any of them. So we need a sway bar B, we need a suspension arm A, I think. Sway bar, rear sway bar B. We need a suspension arm A, I think. We might have needed, we need a wheel, we need a rear drive, oh no, what was it called? Rear something or other. Rear wheel hub, that's what we needed. I'll have to come back for the rest of it. Not a hope in hell of me remembering. Rear sway bar in there. Sway bar end link, they won't be repaired, sadly. Sway bar ending bit, perfect. Okay. I mean, as far as restoration on these, and bushings, of course, on these various vehicles go, this is one of the more complex suspension systems to have to deal with. Perhaps I think about as complex as it gets on this game, really, in terms of your suspension. Not that it's that bad. Kind of get the hang of working on them. The first couple of times it'll be fiddly, and you'll inevitably forget a bunch of stuff. After that, yeah, it's not too bad. Easy to lose the rubber bushings. The well-known fact that the rubber bushings like to go walkabouts when putting this stuff in. There's one in particular that is very easy to forget down around this area. Maybe it's on this side. You kind of see it. Yeah, in there. Very easy to forget about that. It's kind of made worse by some of the bits being able, like, you can put the wheel on and have stuff quite easily obstructed by the big ghost floaty wheel going on, and that doesn't make life easy at times, but you know, it happens on this game. Right, rear hub is here. We're not that far away from being able to chuck this car together and go for a very, very fast go-kart drive, and I am looking forward to that. I am looking forward to the very, very fast go-kart. Upper suspension arm is good. Do we have the lower arms going on? Spin around down here, won't we? We have got the suspension arm B. Perfect. Small rubber bushings to go with it. Rear suspension arm. That one there. Oh, these things here are also really easy to forget about the rubber bushing on the end of them. Again, kind of like the difference in visuals between it being ghosted and being, you know, in place is not massive. So with a quick glance, again, it's one of the ways you will miss the damn things. Oh, we need the cylinder, don't we? Not from the performance shop. It's a shame we can't get performance brakes, but there we go. Brake caliper, cylinder. Yeah, performance brakes, performance suspension would be a nice addition to see at some point. Maybe we will. Maybe we will one day. You know, live in hope and everything. Suspension arm A, perfect. Then we just got this spring to install. We have a drive axle to put in. Otherwise, we're going to have one-wheel drive, and that would not be good. It works in a bike, but it does not work in a car. You would have not many fun times trying to get this thing moving with just one wheel working. And that's all of that. I think that actually is everything in the car. Drive shaft can be dropped in. Then all we need is wheels and a battery. Oh, and the exhaust pipes put on. Let's go and so we have got a battery that's charged. Fantastic. Charged. I guess that's the battery that came out. That's the battery that came out of the Efijy. It's sort of 50% battery life in it. That's done pretty well for being stuck in a barn for however long. That's done surprisingly well for being. Oh no, it's over the other side, isn't it? For this one, done surprisingly well to have lasted that long. Battery in there. Oh, we do need things like brake servo and so on. That's repaired. ABS pump. Nope. But that's a really buggered up ABS pump. All right, ABS pump. Yes, I'm going to buy that anyway because we might need it. Don't remember if I repaired it or not. But there's a good chance that it was, well, there's a chance it was too, it was repaired, so there's a chance it was too broken to repair, and with my apparently clumsiness, a lot of stuff got broken today. Okay, oil. Let's go do that now while I think about it, otherwise it'll slip my mind and then we will go try to drive and the game will come up with the highly amusing message that that people like when I manage to forget all the oil from my cars. Right, car status. Global parts condition, 95%. I think it is just because we have got wheels missing and the exhaust pipes. Got front exhaust pipe V8C. Front exhaust pipe V8C. Two of those. Yeah, shame we're going to have a horribly mismatched exhaust. We're still got the slightly mismatched engine. You can't really get away with that on these performance engines. They're always going to be, even if you have kind of as much performance parts as physically possible, the blocks are never going to be performance parts themselves. So you always end up with a mismatched engine. Okay, warehouse. Please remember and please have my tyres at the top. You do. Thank you. Oh no, don't sell it. No. We want them. I do have a V8. I have the V8. Actually, that's the engine I pulled out of the Efijy, the double overhead cam that came out of this. That's now going to be stored in there for now until I can be bothered to do something with it. Because it's a mostly complete engine, which is always helpful. Right, tyres. Now, we want the little tyres at the front, 275s at the front of this vehicle. These tyres may well not fit in the wheel arches particularly well, considering the wheels that came off of it didn't fit necessarily that well in the wheel arches. These are massive. They won't really suit the Efijy either. I'm not so bothered about that because, again, this is about performance. It's about getting the vehicle to go quickly and screw the rest of it, essentially. Let's go and then get that installed over here. Now, we do, thankfully, have the seats ready to go in on this car because they were in pristine condition. The seats were in... Oh, well, okay, not quite pristine condition then. Does this normally let you... Oh, it doesn't normally let you repair seats. Well, that's disappointing. Bugger. I guess we're going to have to go and buy some then. Interior shop. We want some seats. Now, oh, not some sear, some seats. I think it was sort of this creamy leather coloured, wasn't it, that we had the interior of the Efijy. So I'll stick with that as a theme. We'll just go for some more, I guess, racy looking seats. That works for me. And for a wheel, shall we go for a full-on? We'll go for a full-on race wheel. Sure, that works. That works. And then interior assemble. Perfect. And it's not going to let me try to do both in one go because the interiors are a bugger to work with. It's a lot easier to work on the interiors, I will say, when the entire car, the entire chassis is taken off. That being said, apparently putting the wheel in the car is not easy with the entire body off. There we go. Perfect. And that will go in there. Right. Our Lunatic go-kart is ready. Our Lunatic go-kart is very much ready to go. Shall we go and dump it quickly? Move you to the dyno room. Let's go and see how much power this thing has got. It better be good. Please be good. Please be impressive. I want my Lunatic go-kart to be impressive. We should be more than the McLaren SLR. We should be maybe 1,300. Possibly, and that's all exhaust essentially in this car. 1,285. There we go. So yeah, it was 100 horsepower more out of this from that exhaust system alone. Nice, nice indeed. Now we're gonna get to find out how it drives, or what it's like to be driving a Lunatic go-kart. Just imagine that that's connected somewhere, and then it kind of looks the part, really. Well, it's certainly a strange view here at the the racetrack. I think more cars should be able to be built like this. It's fantastic. Admittedly, the way the game is designed, it's not really designed for you to have a rolling chassis go around the track. Yeah, there are bits that are invisible. I guess the way the game's coded when it comes to spawning into the circuits, things like the suspension arms and all of that aren't meant to load because you're never really supposed to see them. So yeah, don't worry about that too much. Oh god, here we go with the lazy automatic gearbox. It never wants to ever change up a gear. How do we handle? Now, theoretically, this will handle no differently. Well, I say theoretically. I don't believe that it'll make a blind bit of difference in this game's handling model, whether we have a body on it or not. Like, the weight of the body or not having the body shouldn't make a difference. Likewise, you know, a lot of structural integrity almost is done through the body. The body's very much part of the chassis, so if you took it, if you kind of cut it off, you'd probably have a very wobbly vehicle, and well, that's not kind of happening with this. Might not like the bumps, but I think that'll just be the Holden's problem to begin with, not so much an issue with it being a stripped down go-kart, because, you know, the chassis is going to hit it, whether it be with the bodywork on it or not, essentially. How fast are we going to go down this straight? Can we crack the 200-mile-an-hour mark? No, because of course we can't, because you do the slightest thing with the steering or you hit a bump and the game will just wildly throw the vehicle into a, well, normally it's to the left it goes, that time it goes to the right, and we're making up our own circuit over there. Good news is it can actually drive across the curb, unlike the McLaren F1 that the splitter caught on everything and launched it to the sky or off the circuit. And that's not really helpful, and certainly not conducive for a good lap time. We're looking to go sub 52nd around here. That's asking quite a lot. It was, what, 51, 52 with the McLaren and the Mercedes, so if we can get roughly near them cars, that would also be a pretty good showing for, for the go-kart. Come on then, Holden, let's see what you can do. We need to get it in a straight line. Well, try and get it. Stop. It's impossible. The job of getting these cars to go to straight line, especially the high-powered ones, is just ridiculous. 55 seconds. Oh, it pinged off of the wall. Yeah, trying to get it to go to straight line isn't particularly easy. I will say that much for our chassis cart. It is brilliant, though. I can't believe I didn't think to drive. What was it that we had? Oh, yeah, of course, the Pontiac. I can't believe I didn't think to drive the Pontiac without the body on. However, nobody even called me out on it either. However, I'm very glad I did, because this thing it's brilliant. It is brilliant having just a rolling chassis to to drive around in, and this is on a car as beautiful as the Efijy. Well, 55-second lap. We can definitely go quicker. Whether it's going to be enough to beat the Pontiac, I don't know. We will have to find out next time. I'll get the body stuck on, we'll have a look, we'll have a mess around with that, and yeah, a further drive of this now most powerful car that I've had on Car Mechanic Simulator. That, though, is going to be it for this video. Thank you very much for watching, and until next time, goodbye.